Have you ever wondered why so many women can't seem to find lasting love these days? If you follow my channel, I'm sure that you've seen hundreds of comments from many of you frustrated with modern dating and how men don't seem to put in the effort or consistency when it comes to building a relationship. My name is Ismael Gomez. I'm a coach, writer, and speaker, and in this video, I'm going to share the main reasons why you may be struggling to attract a secure man who wants to build a future with you. These insights come from the patterns I've noticed in countless women doing our private consultations. Once they became self-aware of such mental barriers, their lives were completely transformed. So listen carefully to my points and see which ones apply to you. Okay, let's begin. Number 1. Your negative beliefs about men. If you believe that every single man out here only wants to use you for his own benefit, or that most of us are narcissists and all the good ones are taken, how can you expect to attract lasting love into your life? If you embrace those beliefs about men, trust me, the universe will make sure that you find plenty of evidence to keep you stuck in that loop. And here's what I can tell you. In the past, I've been betrayed, taken advantage of, deceived, but that has never tainted how I perceive women. Because the simplest thing to do when we are hurt is to blame everything on the other side. Look at it this way. Imagine that you're walking around an apple tree and only picking up the rotten apples that have fallen on the ground because they're the easiest one to spot, right? But if you raise your awareness and begin to look up at the tree, you will see those vibrant green apples hanging up high. The question then is, was it the apples that were the problem, or did you need to learn to find the good ones? Number 2. You misunderstand men's emotions. One emotion in men that confuses many women is sadness. Let me explain. If you decide to end a one-sided relationship or a situationship with someone and then you see that they're sad about it, that is expected. The reaction I usually witness from many of you is, but Ismael, look, like he really cares about me. He's sad that I left. Well, have you ever seen a little boy when they take their toy away? Of course he'll be sad. You just cut off his supply. But if he truly wanted to be with you, his main focus wouldn't be sadness. It will be showing up consistently, making you feel like a priority, not just being melancholic that he no longer has access to you. And here's another example. A man that is attracted to you is not the same as a man that is devoted to you. I know many of you ladies often confuse these two, but here's the thing. Attraction only shows that he desires you, which is obviously essential, but we can desire multiple people at the same time. The question is, does he feel you bring out the best in him? Does he find joy in making you feel safe and loved? And this is how you can think about it. Attraction means I want this woman for myself, and devotion means I want to give this woman the best of me. Number 3. Destructive jealousy. You're only a jealous woman when you think that you're easy to replace. Notice that jealousy always involves a third person. If your partner suddenly decides to leave you, you will feel heartbreak and confusion, but never jealousy. Jealousy only arises when there's another woman in the picture. This means that those feelings don't stem from the thought of losing him, but from the fear of someone else replacing you. Someone that you believe is more worthy of love than you. I mean, let me tell you ladies, I've been in relationships where the women were so jealous that after a few months, I felt completely suffocated, and obviously I walked away from those. Now, this doesn't mean that you have to tolerate disrespect or betrayal, but it does mean that you don't have to resort to threats out of jealousy. If we're dating, you don't have to say, hey Ismael, don't be liking other girls' pictures on Instagram or flirt with other women in the DMs. I will do those things naturally because I believe that's how a loyal man should behave. That being said, not everyone shares this view, okay? Some people think that as long as you're not sleeping with someone else, you're still loyal. They see online behavior as less significant. Therefore, being jealous will hurt your relationships in many ways. But like I said, having standards and self-respect is different. But if you find yourself constantly needing to control your partner's behavior, what he does, or who he speaks to, you might need to work on yourself or look for someone whose actions align with your values so you don't end up in a toxic dynamic. Number 4. You rush into it. Navigating the early stages of romantic love can be exhilarating and overwhelming at the same time. Our brains become highly active during this process, especially the most primal parts. To be completely blunt, your brain becomes dumber when you're falling for someone new. This is what the energy of intense romantic love does to a person. It makes it harder for you to fully process the consequences of your actions. Given that scientific reality, I always encourage my clients to take it slow during this early stage. The best protection against making potentially bad choices is time. So before you imagine your whole future with this man that you recently met, give yourself time for those intense feelings to cool off a bit. Once you have a clear head, you can take a more honest look at the person in front of you and make more balanced decisions. And final, number 5, you fail at keeping the spark alive. And the last thing that I noticed, ladies, is that many of us become complacent in relationships and we forget that finding love is one thing, but keeping it is the real challenge. Now, let me tell you some science to back this up. Dr. Helen Fisher, which I always talk about here on the channel, she ran a survey of 5,000 people, okay? And she asked them about their long-term feelings about sustained romantic intensity. In other words, how long after you started dating your partner did you still want to rip their clothes off on a regular basis? In the best cases, people reported maintaining that level of intensity for anywhere between 2 to 5 years before it eventually faded. And that doesn't sound very promising, does it? Especially when marriage is meant to be a decades-long commitment. So how do you keep the spark alive? Well, Dr. Fisher says that it's essential to nurture 3 basic brain systems involved in mating and reproduction, and those are sex drive, romantic love, and deep attachment. So the first one, sex drive, she says that regular sexual activity with your partner is crucial, not just for physical pleasure, but also for emotional well-being. She points out that sex is pretty good at activating the oxytocin system, which promotes feelings of deep attachment. She also goes on to say that novelty is also a key factor in keeping those levels of attachment high. And this doesn't have to be limited to sexual novelty, okay? You don't have to go 50 shades of gray. It can include trying new activities together, exploring new places, or even just sharing new ideas. The goal is to keep the relationship dynamic and engaging, which keeps romantic love thriving. And the last one, deep attachment, which is a combination of physical and emotional closeness. Little things like cuddling, holding hands, kissing for more than 6 seconds, and having intimate conversations can strengthen the bond between you and your partner. Alright ladies, that's it for today's video, but before we end it, I want you to remember this, that it doesn't matter how many of my videos you watch, how many self-love books you read, or how many therapy sessions you attend to. If you choose the wrong man for you, you'll just end up wasting years of your life on him and making it harder for you to find genuine love. Sometimes you want to change the relationship, but you might just need to exit the relationship. If you have any questions or concerns, just let me know in the comments. I'll try to answer as many as possible. Thank you for subscribing to my channel. I'm glad that you chosen me to learn about self-love, dating, and relationship dynamics, because like I always say, for your relationships to change, you need to change. Have a beautiful day.